Alright, buckle up, history adventurers. We're diving headfirst into one of Egypt's most tantalizing mysteries. Picture this, colossal pyramids piercing the desert sky, built as eternal resting places for mighty pharaohs. These weren't just tombs, they were resurrection machines, gateways to the afterlife, packed with everything a king would need. But here's the big sandy question mark that keeps archaeologists and explorers like me up at night. Why are so many of these magnificent structures found empty? Where are the pharaohs? It's a historical whodunit of epic proportions. Thousands of workers toiled for decades, quarrying massive stones, hauling them across unforgiving terrain, and engineering these wonders with incredible precision. All this effort, all this ingenuity, for what? An empty room? It just doesn't add up. The grand sarcophagus sits in the king's chamber, maybe even sealed, but the royal occupant? Vanished. Poof! Gone like a desert mirage. Let's get started on unraveling the mystery of the missing pharaohs. To even begin to crack this case, we need to go back to basics. What was the deal with these pyramids anyway? They weren't just fancy triangular decorations for the desert landscape, that's for sure. These structures were at the very core of Egyptian belief about life, death, and the afterlife. For a pharaoh, death wasn't the end. It was a transition, a dangerous journey to join the gods and become an immortal Osiris. The pyramid? That was his launch pad, his spiritual rocket ship, and his eternal home, all rolled into one massive stone package. It was designed to protect the king's body and his possessions for all time. The ancient Egyptians believed the preservation of the physical body was crucial for the soul, or the Ka and Ba, to navigate the underworld and achieve rebirth. The pyramid, therefore, was the ultimate safe deposit box for this precious cargo. Its very shape, reaching towards the sun god Ra, symbolized a stairway to the heavens. Inside, intricate passages, false doors, and burial chambers were all part of a carefully orchestrated plan to ensure the pharaoh's successful journey and eternal well-being. So, when we find these meticulously constructed eternal homes empty, it's a glaring contradiction. Alright, let's talk about the usual suspects in any case of missing valuables: thieves. In the context of ancient Egypt, we're talking about tomb robbers. This isn't a modern theory cooked up by imaginative archaeologists. Tomb robbing was a serious problem even in ancient times. Pyramids were basically giant neon signs flashing treasure inside. They were packed with gold, silver, precious stones, ornate furniture, and all sorts of goodies meant to accompany the pharaoh into the afterlife. For people living in poverty or even just opportunistic individuals, the temptation must have been overwhelming. Many tomb robbers were likely sophisticated, possibly even with inside knowledge. We're talking about quarrymen who knew the layout, disgruntled workers, or maybe even corrupt officials. They would have known about the false passages, the hidden chambers, and the best ways to bypass the elaborate security measures the pyramid builders put in place. The historical records actually mention tomb robbing. We have papyri like the famous Abbott papyrus from the reign of Ramesses IX, which document investigations and trials of tomb robbers. If the later, more concealed tombs were hit, you can bet your bottom dollar that the highly visible pyramids were prime targets from almost the moment they were sealed. The tomb robbing theory is strong. It's plausible, it's supported by historical evidence, and it appeals to a basic human understanding of greed and opportunity. When we explore these ancient pyramids, it's not just the absence of the pharaoh that screams foul play. The pyramids themselves often bear the scars of ancient break-ins, providing compelling, almost tangible evidence of tomb robbing. Archaeologists frequently find telltale signs, forced entry points like crudely cut tunnels bypassing the original sealed passageways. Inside the chambers, the scene can be one of utter chaos, a stark contrast to the orderly afterlife envisioned by the builders. Sarcophagi, massive stone coffins meant to be the ultimate protection, are often found prized open, their heavy lids askew or smashed. Sometimes they are completely empty, sometimes containing only a few scattered bones or fragments of linen wrappings. Any grave goods that weren't too heavy to carry or weren't made of precious materials might be left behind, smashed or discarded in the robber's haste. These physical wounds on the pyramids are powerful arguments for the tomb robbing theory being a major factor in why so many pharaohs are missing in action from their eternal homes. Were pharaohs secretly buried elsewhere? What if some of these pyramids weren't the pharaoh's final resting place? Could some rulers have had a secret alternative burial site hidden far away from these giant, obvious targets? This theory suggests that perhaps some pharaohs wised up to the rampant tomb robbing problem. Maybe some pyramids were elaborate decoys, while the real mummy was stashed away somewhere much more discreet. After the Old Kingdom, pharaohs largely stopped constructing these colossal structures. They opted for hidden rock-cut tombs in places like the Valley of the Kings. Could this thinking have started earlier with some pyramid-age pharaohs hedging their bets? The desert is vast and many of its secrets are undoubtedly still buried beneath the sands. Section 6. Dust to Dust, the Ravages of Time and Nature's Toll. While tomb robbers are a compelling explanation, we can't ignore another powerful force at play: Mother Nature and the relentless march of time. We're talking about thousands of years here, folks. 4.5 millennia have passed since the heyday of pyramid building. Even the best preservation techniques of the ancient Egyptians, including their sophisticated mummification processes, might not be enough to withstand that kind of extended exposure to environmental factors, especially if the tomb's integrity was breached at some point. What if the robbers didn't take the body, but their actions exposed it to decay? Think about the Egyptian climate. While generally arid, which is good for preservation, it's not entirely benign. Humidity seeping in through cracks or robbers' tunnels can wreak havoc on organic materials, including human remains and linen wrappings. Insects, rodents, and microbes are also tireless agents of decomposition. So, while tomb raiders are a dramatic culprit, the slow, steady, and often invisible work of environmental decay could be a silent accomplice in the disappearance of Egypt's ancient rulers from their monumental tombs. Were some pyramids never meant for bodies? Could some pyramids have served a symbolic purpose? The cenotaph theory suggests monuments for honor, not burial. Egyptians were deeply symbolic. Their structures held layers of meaning. Perhaps these structures were about ideology and cosmic alignment. The complex could fulfill religious functions, not just be a tomb. Section 8. Cracking the Code: Modern Science Meets Ancient Mysteries. So, we've got tomb robbers, secret burials, the ravages of time, and symbolic tombs all vying for an explanation. What can modern science bring to this ancient cold case? Well, quite a lot, actually. Archaeologists today have an arsenal of high-tech tools that would make Howard Carter's head spin. We're talking ground-penetrating radar, muon tomography, yes, using cosmic rays to see inside stone, satellite imagery, and advanced forensic analysis. These technologies are allowing us to peer beneath the sands and inside these massive structures in non-invasive ways, searching for hidden chambers, lost causeways, or even forgotten tombs. For instance, the Scan Pyramids project, launched in 2015, used muon radiography and infrared thermography to explore the Great Pyramid of Giza. They famously detected a large void, a previously unknown cavity, above the Grand Gallery. While its exact purpose is still debated, it could be a construction feature, a hidden chamber, or something else entirely. It shows that even the most studied pyramid in the world still holds secrets. Modern science isn't offering easy answers, but it's providing new tools to ask more precise questions and to test the old theories with fresh eyes. The quest to find the pharaohs is now a high-tech treasure hunt. Section 9. Conclusion. The lingering question: Egypt's greatest vanishing act. So, after journeying through theories of daring tomb robbers, secret burials, the relentless decay of millennia, and the intriguing possibility of symbolic sanctuaries, where do we stand on the mystery of Egypt's missing pharaohs? The truth, as it often is in these grand historical puzzles, is likely a complex tapestry woven from several of these threads. It's probably not a one-size-fits-all answer. Some pyramids were almost certainly plundered by ancient thieves, their treasures and occupants disturbed or destroyed. In other cases, pharaohs might indeed have been buried elsewhere, their pyramids serving as magnificent decoys or spiritual monuments, their bodies hidden in yet undiscovered tombs, awaiting a future, very lucky archaeologist. And for some, the sheer passage of time and the unforgiving desert environment may have simply reduced their mortal remains to dust, leaving behind an empty sarcophagus as a silent testament to their once grand existence. Each pyramid, each pharaoh, might have a unique story behind the empty chamber, a specific combination of factors leading to the same enigmatic outcome. What's so captivating about this mystery is that it's still very much alive. The search for answers is, in itself, a grand adventure into the heart of human history. What secrets are still waiting to be unearthed? Only time, and perhaps a bit more digging, will tell.